going to do an insight video today. I've been thinking a lot about creation and oneness and consciousness and sort of when people talk about like 3D, 4D, 5D. Been thinking about a lot of this lately, and I think this is part of us transforming and sort of like integration of like infinite consciousness and awareness and stuff like that. I've always been very much sort of interested in like oneness and like in the concept of non-separation and sort of like source energy and creation and things like that. And I've been thinking about like 3D, 4D, 5D and all these sort of like different dimensional shifts, and I've been thinking about them in a way of when we talk about it, we're talking about sort of like arriving somewhere, when really in theory sort of like when we talk about like the self-realization principles, they're saying that you're everything you wish to be, you already are. So in that sense, that all these kind of 5D, 3D and 4D experiences are already within you. They're already like frequencies that are available within you. They're sort of like, as you're part of like source like you're born of source, which is your essence, and sort of like the soul in my sort of belief. I was thinking about the soul the other day, and I see the soul as sort of like an aspect of source that sort of like is being sort of like manifested or integrated within like your soul is an aspect of source energy, like source creation, oneness, and it's sort of like it's in this moment, and that aspect of source, your soul, is sort of like it when in this reality, your that aspect of source, your soul, is what keeps you aligned with oneness and the infinite sort of like source creation and source reality and source dimensions and source infinite dimensions. Your soul is the open channel that allows you to receive that, because it is an aspect of source within this reality. Now, source is very different in other realities than in this reality, and that the soul in this reality is has frequency and vibration, but in this reality, obviously, there's certain sort of like the fact we're in a physical form, and like the soul is that aspect of self and source, the infinite self that still connects us to source and the infinite dimensions and realities that are beyond this physical reality, and the soul is the vessel that connects us to that. So, and I was just thinking about sort of like, so like 3D, 4D, 5D, they're just states of consciousness. Everything is a state of consciousness, and that, like, again, in these self-realization principles, they talk about the formula of creation is sort of like is consciousness, then energy into form. So like consciousness is the starting point, and once you become conscious and aware, then it creates a vibration, a frequency that creates an energy, and then that energy then it comes into reality. And it can even be explained like this, where like there's an aspect of yourself that becomes conscious of realities and potentials beyond this this reality now. You become conscious, aware, and your energy shifts and changes, so your vibration shifts, and when it does that, you open to receive like new sort of like insights, new information, new awareness. And when that happens, then what happens is like your consciousness raises, your frequency raises, to a state of sort of like alignment to like oneness or union with source energy and source creation. And then what happens is it opens up, and then what they say is like formless dimensions, which is like the infinite dimensions of reality and frequency. So this would be beings of light energy. In a sense, they're not like forms like us, they're just frequencies, and they have like this infinite awareness and infinite consciousness of reality and creation. And so when you see the infinite potential within your reality or within yourself as a source creator, you open up, and then what happens is that information, that energy, from new potentials and new opportunities then starts to flow in. You become an open channel to receive and express, and this is what consciousness does. And like third, fourth, and fifth is really just a way again of it's again like the labelings, or like they're coming up with like definitions, and we say like 3D is out there, is the physical reality, and then 4D is the transformation. But the transformation is like the doorway where you start understanding in consciousness and creation, and understanding that all things are created through you, for you, and as you. Excuse me, I'm just getting over an illness at the moment. I've had like a viral infection, so I'm just so when things come in, it's like in the 4D, it's like transformation, but it's the understanding that you are the, you are the channel, you are the creator. That how you express things and how you create them through consciousness is what creates your reality. So all things flow through you, and as you and for you. So in that sense, you start to realize that you're the key. You're the key for all reality, because you are creator, of your own creation. Again, that's another principle, and you start to realize this. So you start to live as that, as the creator, like creation expression of your being, like, and a creator of your, your sort of like your infinite creator within you. And you have got an infinite creator. We all have, because source is like the creation of all reality. It's the essence of all things. It's the creative blueprint of all things, and we're source as well. So we're creators, and we have that frequency of all creation within us. And it's like, and then it's this understanding that, you shift to fifth dimension, where people talk about like heaven and earth, and understanding of like love, and all different kind of frequencies. But the fifth dimension to me is like creation. It's a stepping stone to creation, and union, and opening completely to that source energy and that source creator within yourself, and the understanding that there's no separation. The fifth dimension sort of dissolves what people say is that veil, between, other realms and dimensions, and this reality, because there is no separation. How can there be a separation if you are source and everything else is source? Then you must be connected. You must be always aligned. You must be always unified. You can't be anything else, because that is what you are. So in this sense, this searching that many of us have done for many, 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 many sort of like realities, or incarnations, or what anybody wants to talk about. We've been doing it for so long, trying to arrive somewhere, when really the true reality, we've always been there, because we can't be anything else but source. We can't be anything else but, an infinite self is, that source aspect of self. And it's and when we come here, we come with that aspect, that essence. So whatever we're trying to find, or whatever we're trying to follow, it's already there. We've always had it. It's never left us. So we've always been connected. Um, we've never been separate. This separation sort of, many people sort of like, follow this path of like non-stop separation, and union, and oneness. In that sense, we are one. We've got to be one, because we're born from source, and source is who we are and what we are. And that is the creation. Source is the creation, or the energy, or the vibration, the frequency of all creation, of all realities, of all dimensions, of all whatever. It's infinite. And source is not something that begins or ends. It's infinite. And in this oneness moment, everything is infinite, and we are part of that infinite creation. So, and this is where the 4D sort of like transformation sort of comes in, is the understanding that in that moment, here now, everything is available. It always has been, and all you have to do is just express it consciously, and then it will come into like energy, and then it'll come into reality, or like into form. And it's a case of just understanding that you are the creator of your own creation. It's like nothing's happening to you; it's happening for you, through you, and as you. But it's the awareness and the consciousness that you are creating and expressing it. So if there's something not working in your reality or your life, it's because you're creating it. And when you step back and realize that, then you just go into the moment, the here now, and you change it. And you change it through consciousness. And when you change it through consciousness, then it becomes reality. And then your reality shifts. It might not be instant, but it will happen. But it will be instant in the energy you feel in that moment. For me, like creation and consciousness, when you're in that moment, if you shift something consciously, you may not see it physically right there and then, but you feel it energetically, and there's a difference. And that energetic sense or feel that you feel in that moment tells you it's already there, it's already been created, it's already done. And then it's just a case of just not attaching or entangling to something, because if you resist something, you resist everything. And that's another self-realization principle. But what they mean by that is, if you've expressed this energy to create that reality, but then you resist it, then you're not open anymore. And if you're not open to it, how can you receive something new if you're not open to it? If you've sort of like shifted back into a consciousness or a cycle that you were of an old cycle, old energy that wasn't working. You know, the new energy needs to be of a certain frequency, and you need to be of a certain frequency to be open to receive that energy. The energy frequencies have to be in harmony, they have to be aligned. So your consciousness has to be aligned with the energy that you're trying to create. And when that consciousness and your energy are aligned at the same point, then they become unified, then they become reality. So it's all about frequency and consciousness. And that's how we create. That's how we've always created. And these so consciousness is the key to all things. Because once you're conscious, you emit a new frequency of a frequency of energy, and then that aligns with another energy that creates a reality, and then they become one, and then they become like then they're expressed, and then they're experienced when they're unified. And this is what oneness is all about, as well as oneness is being in unity and harmony, and the understanding that you are a creator of your own creation, of your own reality, and everything is available to you. Everything is available in here now moment, in the power of now moment, which is another fulfilling self-realization principle. There's so much to these principles. I mean, I would tell everybody to go and have a look at them. I mean, like I said, I listened to it from Sarah Landon, and they're like the 15 principles of self-realization that she got through as a channel through a council, which is collective beings that work with her as a channel for this reality in this age. And I'd say check them out, because they make a lot of sense. What makes sense to me about them is, and what makes sense to me about a lot of things, is oneness is in all things and everything. And when you start to see that, you see everything is just. So when I go through the 15 principles, I see, oh, that one connects to that one, that connects to that, that connects to that, that connects to that, connects. And you see, they're just an infinite sort of alignment with all all principles work in perfect harmony and perfect union together. None of them are separate. And when you start looking at them, each and every one of those 15 principles fit in the oneness moment, which all reality and all creation fits in that oneness moment. And you start to realize that everything is in oneness. Everything is in this oneness moment. All reality, all creation, all consciousness is in this oneness vibration, this oneness frequency. And you start to realize it. So you start to see that, you know, for a long time, the only time you're separate is when you separate yourself by expressing in a different way, other than understanding that, you know, true reality and true creation and infinite potential and infinite powers all in that moment, in that oneness moment. And you're always connected to it, because you are source energy, and source energy is oneness vibration and frequency and creation. So you can't be not connected to oneness. It's just you need to be conscious of it. And this is what the biggest sort of like shift for a lot of us is remaining conscious in it, and not being distracted by the daily things that go on. And when we live in consciousness and we live in oneness, we live in a harmony frequency, and we live in an aligned and unified frequency. Well, that's the insight for today. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a great day.